Somewhere in Virginia, a baby girl has just been born. The nurse is smiling, the dad's filming on his phone, the mom is crying happy tears. In a minute, they'll put a little pink bracelet on her wrist with her name on it. At that exact same moment, in Helmand Province, Afghanistan, another girl is born too. Except this time, the father walks out of the room. Not out of fear, out of disappointment. Because it's a girl. Today we're going to follow these two girls through an entire lifetime. From birth to old age. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at what you take for granted the same way again. USA. Let's call her Emily. She's born in a hospital with a 4.8 rating on Google. Her mom had at least 10 prenatal ultrasounds during the pregnancy. The delivery team includes an OB/GYN, an anesthesiologist, and 2 nurses. Emily weighs 7.5 pounds. She's immediately screened for 30 genetic disorders. Standard practice in the US. If anything shows up, treatment starts before she even has symptoms. At home, there's a nursery waiting, a crib, a pile of toys, and health insurance that covers her pediatrician, dentist, and eye doctor. Her mom gets months of maternity leave. Emily's odds of dying before age 5? Less than 0.7%. Afghanistan. Let's call the second girl Zarina. She's born at home because the nearest hospital is 25 miles away, because there's no money for the trip, because a woman in Afghanistan isn't allowed to go to a hospital without a male escort, and her husband isn't home. Mother-in-law delivers the baby, or the neighbor, or no one. Afghanistan has one of the highest maternal death rates in the world. 638 deaths per 100,000 live births. In the US, that number is 23. If Zarina survives childbirth, her odds of living to age 5 are around 94%. That sounds okay. Until you realize it means one girl in 16 will die from something that gets treated with a single doctor's visit in America. Polio, measles, diarrhea, pneumonia. In 2021, the Taliban seized power and banned most women from working in healthcare. Fewer midwives, higher death rates in childbirth. Zarina can't even talk yet, and her life already depends on political decisions made by bearded men who have never given birth. USA. Emily starts preschool at 3, then elementary school where she learns to read, do math, ask questions. Her teacher tells her, "You can be anything you want." And that's not just a nice thing to say. It's backed up by reality. 57% of college students in the US are women. Women hold jobs as CEOs, senators, generals, neurosurgeons, astronauts. By the time Emily turns 10, she picks an after-school activity. Maybe robotics club, maybe ballet. Nobody asks her dad for permission. Afghanistan, August 15th, 2021. The Taliban enter Kabul. That same day, thousands of Afghan girls go to school for the last time. Zarina is 8 years old. She can read. She loves math. Her teacher says she's talented. The next day, the school shuts down. For good. Since September 2021, girls in Afghanistan past the 6th grade are banned from attending school. That's the law of the land. Not a custom, not a tradition. A law. Right now, more than 2.5 million Afghan girls are shut out of education. They sit at home. Some learn in secret, in basements, at neighbors' houses, in mosques willing to take the risk. If a teacher gets caught, she can be beaten, arrested, killed. The literacy rate among Afghan women is around 17%. That means out of every 6 Afghan women, 5 can't read the words on the screen. At 10, Emily is choosing a robotics club. At 10, Zarina is learning to cook, because soon she'll need to please a future husband. At 16, Emily gets her driver's license. She gets in a car and drives wherever she wants. She has access to a gynecologist. She knows what birth control is. If she ever needs help, she can call a hotline, go to a shelter, take someone to court. Zarina can't leave the house without a male relative. A mahram. That could be her father, brother, uncle, or husband. No mahram, no doctor's visit, no trip to another city, No buying groceries at the market. Without a man beside her, she essentially doesn't exist in public. After 2021, the Taliban banned women from parks, gyms, and public bathhouses. Her own voice is literally against the law. Now let's talk about what happens to her body. Without her having any say in it, Emily gets married at 28, or 35, or never. It's entirely her call. She picks her own partner, sets her own wedding date, and if things don't work out, she can leave. Divorce in the US is accessible and legally straightforward. In Afghanistan, the average age of first marriage for girls is 16 to 17. Plenty marry at 12, 13, 14. According to UNICEF, 28% of Afghan girls are married before turning 18. Human rights groups estimate the real number is much higher because many marriages are never registered. Now let's talk about something people usually only whisper about. A bride price is a payment the groom's family makes to the girl's family. The amount varies. Livestock, cash, sometimes even another girl handed over in exchange. Yes, girls are literally bought and sold. After the economic collapse of 2021, when the Taliban took power and the U.S. froze $9 billion in Afghan reserves, the country fell into deep poverty. The UN estimates more than 90% of the population lives below the poverty line. When families are starving, they make decisions that in any other circumstance would be unthinkable. Save the Children has documented cases where fathers handed over daughters as young as 3 or 4 to settle a debt. The girl lives in the creditor's home as a future bride for his son or as a servant. The line between the two is blurry. It's called Baad, an ancient practice that's technically banned, even under the Taliban. And it still happens. Because the law is one thing. Hunger is another. Zarina doesn't know what Tinder is. She doesn't know what a first date is. What she knows is that one day her father will walk into the room and tell her the name of the man she'll spend the rest of her life with. And that will not be a conversation. At 25, Emily has a job. She earns a paycheck. She has her own bank account. She travels. She votes. She could legally become president of the country. She can file for divorce, take out a mortgage, sign a contract, sue someone, sit on a jury, all without a man's permission. Since 2021, Afghan women have been banned from working in most government jobs. Then the ban spread to NGOs, then to the UN. Women can't be doctors. Women can't be judges. Women can't be journalists. Zarina can't open a bank account without a man's signature. She can't get a passport without a man's permission. She can't leave the country. In 2023, the Taliban banned Afghan women from attending university altogether. Right now, there is no legal path in Afghanistan for a woman to build a career, earn her own money, or become independent. The only officially recognized role for a woman in this country is wife and mother. And even in that role, she doesn't get to make the decisions. We've been talking about 2 girls, but behind each of them stand millions more. There are 167 million women in the United States. Most of them never stop to think that they can get in a car and drive wherever they want, that they can say no, that they can call the police, that they can quit a job, that they get to choose. In Afghanistan, there are 20 million women. They can't do any of that. And here's the thing you need to understand. This isn't a story about religion. It's not a story about culture. It's a story about power, about what happens when one group of people decides another group isn't quite human. The Taliban couldn't have happened without poverty. That poverty wouldn't run so deep without decades of war. And that war wouldn't have happened without the geopolitical games of world powers. Zarina isn't just a victim of Afghan men. She's a victim of a system the entire world had a hand in. And Emily isn't just lucky. She's the heir to centuries of other women's fight. Women who went to prison and sometimes died for the right to vote, to work, to learn. The gap between these 2 girls isn't an accident of birth. It's a political choice. And political choices can be changed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.